Today we're nomading about the Zocalo in Mexico City.
The Zocalo is the main square in the historic district of Mexico, and it was built upon the ruins of the ancient Aztec capital. And you can see behind us some of those ruins that have been unearthed recently.
Let's go take a look.
I'm Wayne.
And I'm Kim, and we're two midlifers nomading about the globe. After raising our kids, we decided to leave our traditional life behind by taking our work with us while we travel.
In this series, we're exploring the expansive history and rich culture in and around Mexico City. We're exploring ancient ruins, local neighborhoods, eating tons of street food, and checking one more thing off our bucket list. Sit back, relax, and enjoy Mexico. Behind me is a model of what Tenochtitlan looked like before the Spanish raised it to build their own cathedrals. It's a little hard to tell from this model, but Tenochtitlan was on an island in a large lake, Lake Tahoe. And it was founded here in 1325 because the Aztecs were literally wandering through Mexico looking for a sign of where they should settle. And according to their prophecy, that sign was an eagle perched atop a cactus with a snake in its beak. And right there, right here, is where they saw that and settled. And that symbol is still on the Mexican flag.
While Way is shooting some footage of the ruins behind me, I thought I should get on camera and tell you I won't be here very much. I'll be behind the camera because this is sort of Way's bucket list of things to do. He loves the Aztec and Mayan ruins in the area, which is why we tend to come down here so much. So I'll be holding the camera, but I'm with you in spirit.
The dimensions of the Aztec city were over 20 square miles, with a population estimated in over 250,000 inhabitants. You know how they could live over the water, how they construct the city in the center of the lake, with the typical floating gardens. How they did it? The floating gardens were constructed with pieces of wood. They made squares of approximately half a square block, and then they fill all these spaces with wood to keep humid and overrun air. In that places, they could cultivate 5 products. The spaces between islands and islands is where we had the canals. The ceremonial center. The pyramids in the corners were constructed in honor to the god of the night, called Tezcatlipoca. There are 2 small buildings with columns between, one in the left and one in the right. These were the headquarters of the Eagle Warriors and headquarters of the Jaguar Warriors. We had 2 different kind of warriors in the Aztec culture, Eagle and Jaguar, and they had different buildings. The 2 small pyramids in the left, called twin pyramids. This one in the right, dedicated in honor to the god Sun. The circular small one and the big one in the middle, these were dedicated in honor to the god of the wind. Close to the big one, there is a large platform. That was the stadium of the ball game, the Great Temple. The real name was Way Teocalli.
Way means great.
Sí.
Just want to clarify that.
On top of this area, we had so many buildings colonial, like those buildings in the back of 17th, 18th, and 19th century. When they tried to put the cables, one of the employees had the order to make a hole of 3 meters deep, 10 feet. When he was making the hole using the hydraulic hammer, he realized that the supposed floor had details. He opened more the excavation and he realized that was a round sculpture that he found. 10 days after the finding, the president of Mexico, let's destroy the 2 square blocks that we had on top of the pyramid to start the investigation in it.
When the Aztecs first arrived here, they built a small pyramid because there weren't very many Aztecs and they didn't have many resources. But over the centuries, as different emperors came and went, they would build new temples on top of the old temples. So you can see here the edge of temple 4, a space, and then the stairs of Temple 3. And so when Temple 3 was built and they decided to build Temple 4, they would fill this area in with rubble and dirt and then build the wall for Temple 4 and build it over it. And behind me is the second temple that was built. The very first temple, built in about 1325, was only about 6 feet tall, and then this one was built on top of it in about 1375 or 1400. There were a total of 7 temples that were built from here outward.
Well, we finally exited the ruins after about 4.5, 5 hours walking through the outside behind us and in through the museum.
And we probably I could have spent another 5 or 6 hours in there. Really incredible.
Luckily, half of the information was only in Spanish, so we couldn't spend the time reading the novels. The artifacts, though, are amazing, and what they've uncovered here is truly phenomenal.
This is one of my favorite places I think I've been in the world so far.
Really?
Yeah.
And we hope you enjoyed the tour. Now we're off to get some tacos. Bye!